part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is David Palmer, the Leo King, and this is your weekly Deep Love Tarot Report for the week of June 10th through the 16th, 2019. This is where we're going to do a reading on using the tarot and using the astro dice, and we are going to look at not only the general love reading for everybody, but then I'm going to go into each individual 12 signs and look at what love is for you this week. If you've never been on the show before, we like to have fun with the show. I am raw, uncut, and I am going to drop bombs on people. I'm going to have fun. I like to pick up different aspects to kind of bring some reality to this tarot. So definitely be ready for, out of nowhere, things just being dropped on you. On top of that, I do kind of go off the handle. I will be very real and blunt that I did this show to make it more entertaining, because I feel that, yes, I know spirituality and everything is a deep course in life, and that is my main mission. But there's just some times where you need to have a show that, especially when it comes to love, that needs to be a little bit more lighthearted, also drop some bombs on people, and more importantly, have a great time. And we go live in the chat, so we encourage people to speak in the chat, because I call people out in the chat. Like right now, we got somebody being like, please do, MK. All right. What do you want me to do, though? So anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. If you've never watched the show before, we got 5 different decks that we're running, and I switch up the decks every week. This week, we're going to do the Astro Black, what is it? What are these cards? It's the Black Moon Astrology cards first. We're going to do the Magical Spell cards as the second. We're going to do the challenge this week as the Enchanted Spell. Those have been kind of our go-to, is really positive, but we're going to see those as challenges. And then we're going to do the awesome deck I love, Sacred Symbols Oracle deck, as to how to overcome the challenge. And our spiritual advice this week, we're going to do the old school Rider-Waite, which actually I've been usually using the Rider-Waite in the first part of the reading. So we're kind of going a little bit ass backwards this week. And of course, I finished with Astro Dice. So let's go into the reading for what is happening for all of us in love this week. Okay, first card that we got is the Solar Eclipse Revolution card. Oh my gosh, this is an intense week for love for all of us this week, of really having to confront, because one thing about a solar eclipse is you got to remember, you have to look at the way that the sky is on that ecliptic. It's like a burn mark. It also is a cigar cutter, I always call it, because there is the sun and moon, right, with the moon passing in front of the sun in this very rare, very aspected element. And how ironic that we are less than a month away from the next solar eclipse. But with relationships and love this week, this is bringing some revolutions that are going to be pretty overwhelming. And we're going to have to see what everything else says here that's going to help us understand it, which is abundance, goddess of abundance, divine, let me be thrive, let fortune be mine. What is the more abundant aspect in our life to have love? If we're single, what are the things that we're looking for in love that we need to change? If we're in a relationship, what is the thing of abundance in the relationship or the lack thereof? You know, one thing about a solar eclipse is it brings out either initiations or complete endings. It's the beginning and endings of stories, and about the abundance and where we're at in our single life or our relationship world. Our challenge this week is the Enchanted Strength card. But you know, it's funny, it pulled 2, which means the challenge is the strength, I think, to go through with what we feel is more abundant, and love. Wow. The strength of what that love really is in our life. Does it hold the weight and the strength for us to have love? Is going to be a question. If we're single, do we have the love for ourselves and the strength to continue going on in where we are? Or are we going to make major changes? What is it in ourselves? Because abundance is definitely connected with the value of things. And I think that there's a deep reevaluating of the strength and love that's challenging in our single lives. And maybe if you're dating or if you're in a relationship, where are things going in your relationship that are challenging right now with strength and love, and what is it worth to you, and what, stories are you ready to begin or end in that? And that can be, that can be said in a lot of different ways. To overcome that, we got growth. This is a big one, because if we're especially getting growth right here, especially right after this strength and love, like growth is a big thing. Definitely with growing up like an adult, but there's a bigger part of this where it's like the growth of, have we outgrown a relationship? Have we outgrown the single way that we've been doing things? Have we not fully found the growth in a relationship yet with love and strength? Or has it truly kind of grown to a place where maybe it's not growing anymore, like to where we have to grow in a new place? So there's a lot of ways to look at this. We're going to get more specific here with the spiritual advice, which we got the 5 of Cups reversed. So this is definitely about a fear of letting go of a lot of past emotional stuff, and a fear of also this kind of cataclysmic, confronting of things that are not going to be fun. It's like avoidance. I think our spiritual advice is to not avoid, some of these weird and off feelings that we don't want to feel, that we want to kick to the side, that we're terrified of doing because we think that it's going to be traumatic, but really it's not. Remember, always with the 5 of Cups, it is kind of the sorrow card, but there is this element with it reversed of us, I think really feeling like, it's not as bad as we think it's going to be. I think it is only as bad of the sorrow that we hold within ourselves if we don't face a lot of these emotional truths that we have to face. Our astro dice are telling us this week, we got the South Node in Aries, 3rd house. So there's definitely communication from our own standpoint needs to kind of look at, a wider vision about looking at all of the understandings in relationships and understandings and where is true harmony in our life. And I think that, if we continue to just stay in the same identified environments and try and keep everything together the way they are, it's not going to work. There's this expanding this week in places we've never gone before, which can be a little weird, but it is where we are going to search and find more answers to love that we are hoping to find this week. Overall, I definitely think that there is some relationship challenges for this week. I will say that one. And I would also say that this is definitely a week where, some bombs are being dropped. So relationship challenges and bombs for all of us, unfortunately. And that's how we like to do it here. So let's go into Aries, see what Aries got going on for them. What's going on in the chat for real quick first? We got some peeps in here, huh? I got to turn this thing to live chat here, not just top chat. Easy does it this week is what someone says. Well, I think, I'll just kind of counteract that easy does it. I think that, there is an aspect where we do have to confront and face things. The solar eclipse is definitely not an easy does it energy. Neither is the 5 of Cups reversed. But I do think you are right about being easy within yourself about the more extreme matters that no longer, can kind of be avoided. And this kind of has been coming up a lot, not only in the astrology, but also in the tarot that I've been doing, this avoidance or this kind of hanging on, kind of a weird who knows element, which really I think at the end of the day is much more of us kind of having to make deeper choices, which I think that there's still a fear of. Now, for Aries, let's see what Aries got going on this week. Aries got the air element, communication. Definitely this is a big week for you to communicate more clear and in a much more positive way. I do like the beauty of this card. There is this 39 as well, which of course equals 12, which equals 3, that there is more abundance that really lies within you being able to communicate clear, communicate what you want in a relationship. If you're single, reach out, be more communicative, but also that, it's important for you to start to think before what you say at the same time too. Maybe rethinking before you just spurt it all out. Aries can definitely just let it out, and especially with Mercury and North Node this week. Holy cow. You got authenticity reversed. I think that this is you communicating from a more authentic place, that, it's almost like the bullshit doesn't work anymore. So I got to drop a bomb on those Aries that the bullshit, no more bullshit. No more bullshit. But, I think that it's good for you, because this is going to be you finally being like, this is how I really am. I'm not going to put out this false authentic self. We're trying to be authentic when it's not authentic. I think that this is like getting to the real deeper cores here of how you want to communicate yourself, Aries. If you're single, you don't need to put on a front. Just show who you are. Like, it's okay. Like, if you're not, in the best dressed clothes this week. It's okay if you're going through a hard emotional time. Instead of putting up this that everything's cool and I got everything together, maybe being more authentic and saying how you feel is going to help a relationship, and it's going to definitely help you in matters of your single life. Your challenge this week with the Enchanted Spell Oracle is to shine, which I think that's the issue, is that you're not going to be able to shine the way you want to this week. And I think that that's not easy for you. You kind of want to show up, be the hero, show the way that you've got everything under control and you've got it in a really good way. But there is this shine inside that also as well is making it difficult, because the authenticity reversed, I think, is definitely a place of like almost kind of wanting to show the shine as that's what you're always authentic as. Maybe your authentic self might not be showing up the way that you want it to look, but that doesn't mean that it's not authentic. We are authentic by different shades, different shines. Sometimes, I was in the military, my boots were really shiny, and then sometimes my boots were not, but that doesn't make them not boots that were still awesome. And I think that this is kind of the way that you have to start to look at things. Your way to handle this is focus. So I think that the focus has been off lately, because it's only been on the things that you think that are the one thing that's going to shine true. Maybe you need to refocus off a more authentic place and more off a place of where you're currently really at in your life, especially with communicating, and thinking, because it is the air element. So communicating is one part of this card, but there is this whole, using your mind better to focus in a direction more. And I think that there's a lot of focus in too many directions. So maybe that's why your shine is coming down. So if you're thinking about too many people, or if you're thinking about too many things outside the relationship, that might even be other partners, or that might even be other situations, I think that this is for you. Just, you got to focus, if you're in your relationship, on what's real, where you're at. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Just focus on that and move from that direction, and you'll go so much farther this week. Your spiritual advice card is the Eight of Swords reversed. So the good news is that you have to get yourself out of your own toxic waters. If you're trying to look for other people or your relationship to get you out of toxic waters for help, or if you're in a relationship and you're kind of bringing toxic energy through communication, not being authentic, that's the issue. If you're single, there is no just like savior that's going to come save you out of these toxic waters. It's your own kind of mental, kind of dark kind of place that you're putting yourself. And usually when I see Eight of Swords reversed, there's almost like a victim mentality that kind of comes up that actually is kind of a darker shade of it, kind of like trying to use kind of weird communicating issues of like, oh, this is what's happening to me and all that, and kind of over dramatizing it when really it's not that bad, in order for people to come in and try and help or feel bad for you or try to come to your level, which de-shines you extremely. Your astrology dice says, man, we keep pulling this South Node. It's so funny. South Node in the 4th in Virgo. So I will say this. With this South Node, Virgo, 4th house, I think it's very important for you to not be afraid to realize that you have to let go in order for you to get where you need to go. That it's not about you feeling emotionally exactly the way that you want things to look. That you just have to just kind of trust in this universe that it's not going to be this shiny, what you think of as authentic self, even though you might not be in that place. So don't put on a costume this week. Don't put on some sort of, ideology of how it should all look, because the truth is that where you're at now is exactly where you need to be, and showing that and that vulnerability and communicating that will get you much farther than, the way that you want to sit on the airplane and which seat you want to be on, because that never works out. So just dropping bombs on that area, nothing really else for you in any other elements. I just got more letting go. Oh, man. I think that, and somebody just donated some money. Thank you so much. More letting go, man. I think that it's like, I think it's not as much as you think it really is. It's just letting go in yourself of this kind of idea of how things are, Aries. It's not so much like, physical let go or anything. It's much more internal and much more in yourself of very simple things that you don't have to be going through anymore. Look at all the people in the chat are sending love to Aries. Let's see Taurus. Taurus, we got the 6th house of routine. So, okay, in relationships, what relationships work in your life? Which ones make sense in your life? Which ones are good for your day-to-day life? And which ones are good for your health? Which ones might get you back into the life and to the health that you want to be in? What's healthy for you? I think that this can be a little bit of a boring relationship week, to be honest, but we're not, fully there. But, there is kind of like, it might look boring, but actually it's much more exciting when the bicycle works. So if you're single, it's like maybe getting out of kind of the more, ones that don't make sense and go to the ones that make sense. In your actual real life, reality is the 6th house. I think in relationships, if you're partnered, this is definitely seeing if your routines are lining up, seeing if your schedule, seeing more importantly if this reality that you both are in together needs to make adjustments. The 6th house is a house of adjustments as well. We did get with the magical spell card your health. So definitely your physical body and your health are extremely connected to this 6th house and health. So you need to see that your health and your body are going to tell you what is right and wrong in your relationship, single or coupled, big time. Whether you're gaining weight, you're losing weight, whether you're feeling sick, whether you're feeling amazing. These are the things that are going to tell you this week, Taurus, what's going on in your relationship life. Pretty intense, actually, but actually very good, because in life, when it comes to love, when it comes to relationships, it's very hard for us to actually know what the hell is going on, right? We always have our mind involved, our heart involved, our emotions, but when the body tells us what's going on, it's a lot easier to know what's going on. But also, there's something going on this week where it's like, is the relationship really in a place that brings you to ultimate health, that brings you to the ultimate life and routine? Or is this a place in your life where it's just like, not that? It just doesn't make sense. It just isn't good for your health, or is it in alignment with where you really want to go? The challenge this week is protection. So definitely wear a condom. No, I'm just kidding. I think that, this protection card is definitely saying that this is a week that all Tauruses have to realize that there is no protection from the way that relationships are going to affect your body, affect your life. Like, the challenge is that you might want to protect your heart, or you might want to try and save something that might not be working, or you might try and be protecting your own heart because of whatever feelings you are feeling and you're afraid to open it fully. So I think that for you that, this is a lot of work this week when it comes to, there's no way to kind of like protect, a baby through its whole life, right? You got to let it go one day. And I think that there's a lot of challenges with you letting go of not only projections, it's funny I brought up that word, but the protection element, the guarded element of really your greatest self in relationships. But that could be causing some troubles in relationships for you because you're protected too much, or you're too afraid, to see if it all makes sense, or maybe you don't know how to make sense in your partnerships right now of your relationships and health because you're protecting yourself or you're guarding yourself too much. To overcome that, you got knowledge. So this is a boring relationship week, I will be honest. But with this boring relationship week, there is this knowledge, there is this true understanding, and I think that there's a deeper look at your own self, that that you have a lot more to review, that you have a lot more to review about the life you want, a lot more to review about your current status in relationships. Is this really the story in which that you really want to go towards? I think that there's a lot of pain that actually is hidden in a lot of this reading here of really like not being able to really experience the true authentic self that you want. And maybe that's because either the alignment's off, or if you're single, because you're protecting yourself and you're not really getting into that routine. And maybe you are worried about your health, or maybe you do have some weird things about your life that you don't want to change. But I think that if you look in expansion and expand into new places that you've never been before, and you come without this protection of trying to hold on to a relationship so much, afraid of losing it, you'll see whether it's going to be really as beautiful as it is fully. Or if it doesn't work out, then at least you know, because you will get to the right routine. You will get your health back in alignment. Especially this health card with the 6th house is dealing with body, your weight, the way that you look. A lot of this stuff is deeply connected to the relationship stuff that you're in. Your spiritual advice is the Knight of Swords. So you definitely need to start to really, combat a lot of things that are going on with yourself when it comes to, one, you need to kind of really start to kind of find where's the edge. Is there edge? Is there edge in this life? But with protection on, even though the Knight of Swords is protected, it's running into things. It's using protection as a running in just to like make sure that is, it's running through 1,000 different troops, that it doesn't get cut up or anything. Knights knew that protection didn't save them from ultimate death, but protection was there to just make it a little bit easier to just get through and to cut through to what it wants mentally. And also this is a firestorm. So the spiritual advice, like even though it's an air sign, there's like an intense edge for looking. So, the spiritual advice is like, you need to bring out your edge. You need to bring out what you are. You can't be so protected and be so kind of basic and routine this week. You need to show edge in order for you to really get to the bottom of what's going on in relationships, and more importantly in your single life, so people know what's going on. So yes, this is kind of a contradictory reading because of this edge mixed with this kind of boringness, but it's like, maybe things are so boring because there is an edge missing and you have to bring that edge out, but still keep it within a mainstream understanding of what I would say, like keeping a healthy routine and a healthy life. You did get the 8th house Cancer, and we did get the North Node finally. So this is definitely going to be about focusing on what's the truth of your emotions, and are you going to really go into that, and also that it's safer for you to bring out truth and to have truth, or whether that's things that have been kind of hidden coming out this week. But I also think that for you it's even deeper, because the hidden stuff is within your own emotional world of not expressing it and holding on to more of this kind of keeping the system in an operational place in your single life or in your relationships that's really not working anymore. There's a little bit of a malfunction going on there. So I think overall, the edge is where you are going to find more happiness, and the truth is going to be where you find more happiness, but it's not that external truth on somebody else, it's that truth within yourself that isn't really coming out, that has to come out. Woo! That's a bomb drop. We had somebody in the chat, right? Get a swing. I mean, I think that, I didn't put it as a sexual week. I think that the edge is not just like getting a swing sexually, because that just is only going to last you whatever, as long as ever, the sex goes, whether that's 30 minutes, an hour, and for some people, unfortunately, it's like 20 seconds. But I think that it's definitely more of the edge of the truth of your feelings for Tauruses that needs to really come out, and also showing your relationships, or showing in your single life your edge more, instead of being so protected. And are you going to really show it, or are you just going to continue to just kind of like loft it in the background? Let's see what we got for Geminis. Geminis, we got Pluto, transformation. So Pluto also does reveal a lot of the truth, gets down to the bottom of things. This is going to be an extreme week for Geminis in relationships, especially since this is big week with the Sun opposed Jupiter, especially in the astrology for Geminis. Their relationship is Sagittarius house. So this is going to be pretty intense week. And I think that there's going to be a lot of intensity, but it's going to finally either A, take your single life and make a big change that you're going to see, or something be received out of nowhere. And in your relationships, there's going to be a major change in how the relationship works completely. And this is already on the edge of my seat with this, safe home. So what you truly feel is safety now beyond doubt. So if something doesn't feel fully safe, it is not something to fully commit to, especially with Pluto. But if something feels safe, it's where you feel home at, that's what you commit to. And that you need to go through these emotions, and you need to go through a lot of these feelings. Pluto also deals with sex, and if it feels like it is beyond doubt the right place. So this is a sexual week for Geminis, definitely to connect to. No sexual? Oh no, really? So yeah, we got the sexual one up, Gemini. So believe it or not, that deeper connection, and maybe I'll be honest, we all just can't have sex all the time. So maybe even a kiss, or maybe even like a hug, or maybe even just a deeper emotional connection on a Skype or on Instagram or on FaceTime or something. It's going to let you know the truth if you feel beyond a doubt the edge, the intensity, the transformational power. The challenge this week for Geminis is the faith card. So, I think that this is hard because you don't have faith, I think, in any direction. I think that you don't have faith when it comes to, this is where I should be going, or this is how it should look, or you need to go off what feels safe in your own self. You need to go off what you're going to commit to, off your feelings. Faith is, I think, a complicated position for you because you're going to have faith to jump into the transformation of staying or having something new, or jump into the faith of leaving or not having something, whether you're single or in a relationship. And I think that this is kind of the complicated area, is your faith about all things. And I think that you just have to have the overall faith that if you trust your feelings and you trust this more intense connection, that's where to go towards. To deal with that, you got transformation again, and this is a whole different deck, but with a butterfly. So it's interesting that you're going from caterpillar to butterfly. This is a major transformative week. This is definitely very intense. I would definitely say that when I look at this is definitely one of those weeks where, there is a lot of pressure and intensity, and you have to feel things fully out and find the faith through that. So I'm definitely going to put this as a party week for the Geminis in order to find this transformation. You got to connect intense with the T-Rex. But that's how the transformation is going to happen. There's something about that T-Rex, that I love. I love that guy. He's in the club, he's hanging out with the girls, and he's rocking his guitar. He's hanging out by, getting the good view. Spiritual advice card is the Two of Wands upright. It's a great card. This is definitely saying that you can have anything that you want in your life and have truly the life that you want it to be. But I think that definitely you have to have that confidence and that faith, which is lacking here, in order to see that it can be the world and the scope and the vision that you want. But it's through this connection, it's through this transformation by the end of this week. And the spiritual advice is, if this is really what you want, you can have it, whatever form that is this week. If you are single, you can have those people that you want, but you have to go connect, and you have to have faith in them and in yourself. If you have faith that it doesn't feel right and you want to leave and you want a different world, you have to have faith in that. This is you transforming completely. This is going to be you coming out at the end of this week in a whole different world, in a whole different view of life. You got Aries, 8th house with Pluto. Wow, so this is you having to truly transform your identity, and you also have to transform and get to the bottom of exactly to the truth of what you want. That you cannot sit on a fence, especially with all this Pluto stuff, especially with all this Two of Wands stuff. There is no kind of, you can't be a Gemini and kind of be all over the place, especially with the full moon in your relationship house by this weekend. You have to identify it completely and stick to it instead of kind of being lofty and trying to kind of hold on to a peaceful place that's not really working out. No, 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 Gemini. Damn. Making big girl decisions. I like that. That's always a fun thing, right? Not wrong. Wrong. I'm just kidding. They are pretty cards, aren't they? They need world flags and symbols section. The T-Rex, yeah, no, you know. Oh, somebody's nervous. I don't think there's anything to be nervous about this. I know that intense and transformation is a lot to go through, but I will say that it's definitely something more to be excited about. Exciting and nervousness go hand in hand. So I will tell you that. All right. Let's see what we got for Cancers. Cancers, we got the third house. So, and I like this one because this is the Eye of Horus in it. The third house is all about our communication, our environment. Is your environment actually creating the relationships that you want? If you are in a place where there's a lot of gangs and energy and like, you know, people doing drive-by shootings and you're looking for a white picket fence relationship, you need to look at your environment. You need to look at where you're hanging, who you're hanging with. You also have to look at also communication. Now this one says messages, and the Eye of Horus and the Egyptian aspect are what are these messages? There's these hieroglyphics, there's these understandings of like the writing is on the wall this week. The writing is on the wall with what you have to say, what you have to understand. That there is nothing left to understand. It's like already there. I think that Cancers are definitely in a place where you're gonna have to read the writing on the wall, listen to what the messages are instead of creating stories off the way that you interpret the messages. But we know that's the Eye of Horus, we know that's the sun god, we know that that's about the time in the day and where the sun is at and so forth. And we know what the message is from the universe. That Cancer this week, you cannot keep creating a story to avoid the deeper emotional connection stuff that's going on. You got safe travel as a way to deal with that, but you got it reversed. So that you're truly afraid that there is no safe passage from whatever the message is that you hear this week. So if you're single and there's a person you're dating and it's not going that well and that's the message on the wall, you don't want to like almost deal with that kind of energy. Like this is really edgy and intensely. There's definitely some relationship trouble on the waters this week. And I will say that this is definitely like, because I think that you're just kind of terrified when it deals with what the truth is. The third house is the truth of what the facts say. And there's this kind of like, I only want to go towards the truth once the seas are calm and everything looks like perfect and I know it's safe. It's like, nothing's ever safe. At any moment, an asteroid could hit the earth right now. So, or hit my building and kill me right now. So, you know what I mean? Like, when you start to actually like look at it, the truth is if you just show up and you notice that the universe has your back through the truth is the safe travel, not the way you deal with the truth. And just if you go with the truth, you're safe. If you don't go through the truth, you're not safe. Innocence is your challenge. So I think that your challenge is that you are completely trying to be this innocent person who's trying to do no wrong, wants everything to be perfect. To be honest, whenever I get this card, and especially, and I've never had it in Challenge, I really haven't used, I think, Enchanted Spell in Challenge much. I would say that you know, it's like being a little kid. There's this part of you that's like too much of a little kid this week in relationships, not wanting to grow up. And I think that this is like where Cancers this week, growing up is going to help you out a lot. I know that you want to feel that everything's innocent and you don't want to see, and I think that this is the hard part, is you don't want to see the truth about your partnerships, that they're not innocent, that they're not, you know, this like perfect thing, that they have their faults, that they have their scars. But there is this element that you need to 100% step fully into what the truth is. And innocence, whether you read that from like a guilty plea, like I am innocent, or guilty, there's this challenge of like, I think actually guilt is attached to this. Like you feel guilty for, just living what the truth is. And I think that you have to realize that it's innocence to follow the truth. You did get time. That I think that it's been too much time of remaining innocent. There's been too much time that has gone by, that has just continually been the same story over and over again, that you are really waiting till the end of time to deal with situations. So I got to drop a bomb on you. For real. I got to drop the bomb that, you just keep waiting, staying in the same situation, not making changes with it, running the same routine, whether you're single or in a relationship. Just like so much time to sit in this little perfect innocent spot that doesn't want to deal until it waits for the safe travel. And usually with Cancers, it's waiting for somebody to come that's in a safe, perfect position, that will have the security you want, that will have everything ready, that will just pull you into this easy place. That is not going to happen. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm also mixing some astrology with this and some channeling. Hey, that was Craig that dropped that bomb on you guys. So, and if he feels like dropping bombs on you, he can drop some bombs. You guys should pull the 3 of Wands as your spiritual advice. There is a bigger vision out there that you know about. But of course, you feel like you need a lot of support to get there. You need a ship. You need all those things. But you know what? Why now are you not paying attention to the vision? It's time to do the vision. The innocence is in the new vision. The safe travel reversed is by going towards the journey, not by staying in the same environment that is not bringing you truth. Your astro dice is, man, we've been pulling Aries a lot. Aries, Saturn, 5th house. Ooh. Yeah, it's not going to look the way that you want it to be with love this week and your own ego's way. But it's when you grow up and define the way you want love to be instead of this innocent kind of young love aspect of how you want it to be. But you grow up and say, I'm going to define my life in love, and I'm going to make tough choices, and I'm going to take action instead of non-action. Then you can find love. If you choose not to make any action, well, you're going to be sitting in a really boring relationship situation for real. So. No passion there. By just staying in the same spot. All right, are all the Leos ready? No more playing it safe. People are loving Craig up in here. So true about Cancers. Double bomb. Yeah, double bombs are not, they're good, I actually think. I actually think getting bombs on here are good. Routine can kiss my dairy air. How about I like to say routines can kiss my fucking ass. So. Leos. Let's see what the Leos got. Leo's got the Aries card. Definitely about defining the love you want in your life, defining who you are, though, first. That love this week, whether you're single or in a relationship, that if it's not you, if it doesn't feel like you, it definitely isn't right. If it is you, then this is who you are. But this is where you have to put yourself first. Now, I know it sounds very egoic, but there is this need. Because, Leo, love for you is whenever you are who you are and you are happy fully in it. But if it starts pulling you from who you are, and that could be the big question, who really are you? You might be battling with a couple different sides. Wow, psychic protection. This is definitely relationship troubles. Big time. Psychic protection is definitely being shielded and protecting you. Because it's almost like relationships could be trying to pull you from who you are. And I think that this is kind of a little bit, coming to a deep truth of who you are and where really, are you being kind of pulled into all these weird directions, or are there relationships that are actually kind of like walk-ins trying to pull you on a different road. Like, Leos are here to shine bright. And this week, there's definitely a protection around making sure you protect yourself from making sure that you stay on track on who you are. So ask for psychic protection week, but it's definitely major relationship trouble, 100%. Wow. Last week we got this card, but it didn't come up as a challenge, but luxury is the challenge card. So when you get luxury, this is definitely like, do not, one, get enticed by vanity, because I don't think vanity is in this deck. And to me, luxury and vanity go hand in hand. That the psychic protection is if you're basing your relationship single, or if you're in a relationship off the vanity of it, the luxury of it, instead of the actual truth of who you are, it's pulling you down a road you don't want to go down. So I got to drop bombs on Leos hard. Hardcore bomb. Like, that's good. Bam. I got to see what this other deck says, because nature spirits. This is actually makes more sense to me than anything in the world. That vanity and fakeness is definitely not what is going to take you to who you are, but relationship situations or being single and the lovers you're looking for that are true, connected, conscious people with the mission, that don't focus on the luxury of it, but focus on just the work of it. That's not what you have to have protection from, but protection from this challenge of this. If you look at these two, like, there's definitely a shift here. There's definitely this kind of like perfect looking, what we think of in our world, and then this kind of nature spirit that's more connected to the truth of nature. I think that the mission here is to identify with what feels pure instead of what feels more like it's like arm candy. And the spiritual advice is the Three of Cups. The advice is go out and be social. Go out and have joy. Go find friends and connect with friends. They're your bounce off to understand what's right, what's wrong. But you also have to go enjoy your life and enjoy yourself to be who you really are. And that's how you know if you're really going to come back into who you are, if you're in a place of joy and celebration around right people, because they know you're in you. When you're not in a place of joy and around friends and around fun energy, that's when you're not in yourself. That's how you're going to know you're in a vanity, either single position in dating, that's not right, and you're going to need protection, or you'll know because those true people, that true relationship will come out in its right form in those social aspects. Astro Dice is saying Pluto and Virgo in the 12th house. That the reality that you have to get to the bottom of are things that are holding you back from that space. So it's like, this is definitely not a week to base things off of like sexually, but base things off purity, base things off getting to the bottom of the purity of your life, and to kind of clear out the things that are holding the reality from where you really want to go in your love life. So, it was Pluto, Virgo in the 12th. Pluto, Virgo in the 12th. So definitely it's a lot of clearing out, a lot of purity stuff, a lot of getting out the things that are almost kind of facading or kind of like cloaking a reality on top of you that you have to get to the bottom of. So especially with that psychic protection, there's been dark forces out to sway Leos in their love lives, big time. And I think that there's been so many weird, relationship love stuff for Leos lately that all makes sense. Not just because I'm a double Leo, but just it's kind of in the times that we're at. So I'm going to take a second here and look at the chat before we get to Virgos. No losing yourself, Leo, is what I just got told. Yeah, definitely. I had to leave and come back. What sign is he on? Oh, okay. We are on coming up to Virgos now. Boom, boom. Makes a lot of sense for you when you're a Leo reading. Oh, thanks for that. What's with the background white party? I don't know what that is. Wow, what the fuck is walk-ins? What the fuck? Too deep, bro. If you don't know what a walk-in is, a walk-in, did you ever watch The Matrix where there's just people walking down the street and the agent takes them over and then uses their body and goes into wherever? That there are dark energies that take over, you know, I would say unconscious people who really are not connected to the real spiritual world and the real world out there, and throw in an agenda, throw in the dark realms work, and that it can be also positive walk-ins though, like the nature spirits ones, the ones connected with the divine nature and love and spiritual world. But it's kind of like which relationships, or if you're in a relationship, you know, like can you kind of exorcise the demons? Forgot what movie that's from. All right, Virgos. Virgo's got the Cancer card. This has to deal with your home, your family, your deeper feelings though, your soul family, your true roots. You're getting to the roots this week. You're getting to your real feelings this week, Virgo, about your relationships. Whether you're single, what are the emotions that are in your roots that are making you kind of feel what you want in your life with love? Maybe you're not ready, maybe you're emotionally not ready, but if you're in a relationship, how's the family life? How are the roots? Is the roots growing the tree and where you really want to go? Is that as far as you want to go? Do you have the right roots? There's a lot of deep, intense feelings going on with Virgos this week that are going to be a little all over the place. Fertility reversed. There's definitely this like, is the relationship truly, if you're in a relationship or you're single, is it really creating and fertilizing this beautiful life? Is it creating anything anymore? Or with fertility reversed, is it over? Like, is it not creating anything, and what do you have to do? Do you need to add some Miracle Grow to this thing? Have you already added Miracle Grow before? What do you do after that? What do you do after Miracle Grow, Greg? I don't know. All depends on what cycle you're on. I wasn't asking about periods, by the way. I was asking you about plants. He knows a lot about plants. I don't know jack crap about plants. But I will say that I don't know anything about women's cycles, since I don't know what that would feel like. But I will say that this week for Virgos is definitely a place of like, is your cycles in rhythm? I like how Craig brought that up. I think that also with your feelings and your roots and foundation, is it all in the right cycle? Is it actually here to keep creating forward and keep your cycle going? Or is it like a menopause moment here? Like we come to a point to where we can't be fertile anymore. Even men. Although men lose their sperm, but there are some, I know Hugh was having kids. I don't know how he did it. He kept doing it. But there is, where men can, go through ED, So there is, I think that in men and women or in anything, there is this aspect of where we kind of come to the end of our fertility cycles or whatever. I think that for you, it's, and you know what, this kind of brings up sexual. I'm going to bring up the sexual thing. Let's just bring up the sexual thing. And I only bring that up because I think it's so important for you to kind of see, like, is this continuing on in an emotional, deep place where you feel fertility, especially as a woman, right? Women, with fertility, it's like, let all take root, seed and sprout. Let new life be all about. Is that new life feeling still there if you're in a relationship? Or if you're single right now, are you just feeling like you're not there and no new life is taken about? Like, you're going to have to do some deep emotional work. The challenge on that is going to be, did I pull two? It looks like I pulled two, yeah. We got good fortune is the challenge and a rebirth reversed. So I think the challenge is trying to rebirth these relationships with ease and good fortune is not going to happen. That there's definitely deeper feelings that all need to be dealt with and understood. And this isn't just going to be just, oh, it's easy. I can just fix this and rebirth it the way I want to. I think that this is a cycle of rebirthing in relationships that keep coming up. And you got the water element here that comes after that. Number 18, too, very strong degree, especially this week with the Sun and Neptune. That just had 18. Neptune's at 18. That Mars, Mercury, 18, trine to Neptune. There's definitely this, you have to go with the tides of where things are shifting, where the water, where the emotions are going. So there's definitely some relationship trouble for real, like big time. Trouble. It's okay. I know, the chat's on fire, but that's the thing, like, it's a lot for Craig. He's running all the cameras, he's running everything, and it's okay, because I'll be like, trouble, but he's like, dude, the chat's on fire. I'm like, I know. But and the whole relationship trouble thing for Virgo, I just think it's because this is trying to get you to the root of what your root really is with your feelings. Your spiritual advice card is the Four of Cups reversed. The spiritual advice is you might not like what's showing up for you emotionally, but if you don't take it, then you're not getting a gift from the universe. Instead of looking at it as what you don't like, look at it as a saving grace. Whatever the feelings are that come up this week. And I think those feelings, we'll pull the dice to see what those feelings are, which is Neptune in the second house in Leo. That you want to value and have a more deeper, enriched, spiritual, loving connection, whether you're single or in a relationship. And that is something that you're almost not willing to take in. The true, deep, spiritual, valuable, and manifesting to the love and to the core and to your inner child that you really want to have. I'm dropping bombs on Virgos. Virgos get bombed. They get a bomb. Boom! Bam. Let's see what the chat is. This chat really on fire? True is true. Hitting mighty vape right now. I haven't hit the vape here for like 5 minutes, yo. Who wants to share how long they have been single? Why don't we hear everybody in the room put how many people are single or how many people are married, how many people are in relationships? Or how many people are in poly? That'd be kind of interesting. How many people are in poly? Poly's been coming up a lot lately in some convos I've been having with people. Not saying I'm like in poly or anything or been in poly, and I have nothing against any relationship that there is. But it'd be interesting to see, you know what I mean? Of course, Libras go, it's Libra time. 6 months single. All right, so we got some single, 4 years. Is this all single or what? Single, okay, yeah, you have to put single and then you have to put or married or you have to put in a relationship. Man, do all the single people, oh, complicated, I like that. I'm gonna call you out, Molly of the Spring. Drop a bomb on Molly of the Spring for complicated. You know what? That's a truth bomb, though, because you're so awesome. Like, you get the truth bomb of awesomeness for putting complicated. So many people will say, I'm this or I'm that or whatever, but they might be in a really complicated situation or they're kind of all of it. I'm single, I'm married, I'm in a relationship, I'm whatever. I love the people who are real. Well, we got some married 21 years on that, too. 14-year relationship. So we got a little bit of everything in here. Sex. Craig threw that sex thing up. Maybe we need to get in the chat and see, like, okay, all these people who are single or 21 years married or whatever, how is that sex life going? I want to see if we can get some truth up in here. Let's pull Libra, though. Let's see what Libra's have to say. Libra, this week you got the Scorpio card. Talk about sex. Gee, Merry Christmas, Libra. But this is a transformation going on about looking into your deeper wants, your deeper needs. And you're going through a very transformational part in relationships where you're at this like kind of edge point to where it's like, okay, I really have to start to make a commitment to what I really want, because sitting on the fence as a Libra is not going to really work out. You're definitely going to be really kind of like deeply looking at this deeper, intensive I transform through transforming through what I want and through really pursuing what you want. You have the choice here of really going straight forward into what you want and what you don't want. You did get the healing. It's healing when you actually just say, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. That there's a part of you having to bring out your deeper truth, and there's a lot of healing here to bring you the healing power. But I think that this is going to take some time for you to process all this stuff. So I definitely think that, it's okay for you to kind of heal by kind of going, this is what I want, but how is that going to work? How is that going to truly be in a deeper element? Or there is a healing part of you being like, well, do I not really want to go through this? There's definitely a lot of healing, but it's through when you really listen to that root. So the sex card does come out. I mean, it does. Like the sexual energy is out. We're throwing this. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're throwing her a lot. Oh, well, it's funny. I pulled 2 cards for your challenge. Luck reversed with beauty. So maybe you're afraid of going forward because you're not maybe feeling at the full beauty that you are, or that there's bad luck on the horizon when there's not. The challenge is that it's not bad luck. And the challenge is actually more, I think, in the value of yourself, or the value that maybe you're not good enough, or the value that, the relationship doesn't look maybe the way that you want to if you're single or in a relationship, when really there's really good luck there. There is no bad luck. The challenge is that you view it as more bad luck when really it's not. So there's a lot to kind of review on this. You did get the shadow, so it's almost like your past shadow stuff and this part of you wanting to kind of be living this old kind of edgy self is important, and it also is a shadow of like, getting for what you want in your life. But I think it's healing for you to realize and to get out of this bad luck thing that you think, or the way that things are not looking as beautiful as you want, is to go and bring that edge for what you actually really want. And instead of looking at it from, well, is it beautiful or not? Because you are a Libra, go with more of that more intense element. Follow that. Usually I would tell Libras not to. But this is telling Libras to follow that edge. Follow where that is. You did pull the Page of Wands reverse as your spiritual advice. That, yeah, sure, it might not be the most amazing week for you when it comes to the chippery, beautiful love that just shows up with the message of love, and the message is the way that you want to see, and the excitement of some new thing coming your way. But it's because the universe is saying, let's put that off for a second. Instead of focusing on young energy and young love, and let's focus on where we want to take our love now. And that's really where this is at. Where do you want to take your love now, Libra? You've got Venus in Aquarius in the 11th house. So social aspects are great, but do you have friendship with the single parts of your love? If you're dating, is it a friend thing too? And if you're in a relationship, can you also be friends too? That helps you realize that there is a deeper commitment there, because Libras need this Scorpio energy to help them get to the truth, because the truth is that you're looking for all aspects of a relationship. A friend, a lover, somebody that you hate at sometimes, but somebody that you love. That's why you're a Libra. You like all sides. You like to weigh out both sides. And I think for you that you're coming to this truth bomb, really for real, that you're at a place to where it's time to transform. Time to make much more commitment and bring out that truth of what you really want, instead of like, well, there's some bad luck. It doesn't look the way I want to exactly, even though underneath is a whole different story. What do Libras have to say? Hi, we got some Toronto, Vancouver peeps in here. Moon, Mars, Pluto, Scorpio. That sounds like a fun position to have in your life. 11th house Libra. Those are always fun and cool. Complex but amazing. Lovers and friends, yes. I've had guys just come out and tell me their package size, and all of them are 3 inches. It's like, what the fuck? Why are they telling me this? This might be the best comment I've ever got on Deep Love Tarot. Well, number one, if any guy is coming out and telling you the size of their package, they have a small dick. Two, if they, that's just always a given. I'll just be honest. From a guy's point of view, like, we don't talk about our packages. The guy, like, if you're in a group of friends, am I right, Craig? If guys are talking about their dick size, they're probably got a small dick.
I mean, I like to say I have a small dick.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I think Craig makes a good fucking thing. Guys with big dicks, we say we have small dicks. Because then there's something about when the truth comes out, then it's like, no, you don't. And then it kind of is like, ha ha ha. But a guy who says he has a big dick, that's a truth bomb. You know. The guy is a big schlong, you know, trust me, they ain't gonna be bragging about how big it is. You'll just know. He won't have to say it. I mean, that's just from my experience from my friends and myself, I guess you could say. So I guess that means I have a small dick. Tiny. Fucking tiny. They always say, do this with guys. Or I had a girl tell me if a guy has a big thumb, like that's the energy of a dick, or like going like that, that's the size of someone's dick. I don't know. Yes, I have tried it in my life. Okay, let's move on to Scorpios. Perfect segue to Scorpio. Jiminy Christmas. Oh my gosh. Okay, all right, Scorpio. Scorpio got the North Node, your life purpose this week in relationship. What is your life purpose in relationship? Where is your life headed? And are the relationships headed towards your life purpose and what you want? This is either looking at like the same career direction, the same kind of interests, and more importantly, just feeling like my purpose is going this way. Does this partnership, or if you're single, do the people that I'm looking for, maybe I should focus on people that are on my same path. So this is definitely about pathways. And I think that this is very positive. I think that this is a very exciting week that's coming for Scorpios here. Wow, confidence definitely is a big one. Relationships with no confidence in the life purpose that what they are what you need to stay away from. But this is definitely empowering because for you, this is realizing that there are relationships that are confident in the same life purpose or the same direction as purpose that's in alignment with your life purpose. And that's where things are starting to come together and you start to know. And so I think that for you, this is also finding confidence in your life purpose by realizing I'm only going to take relationship, or only in my relationship, if you're in one, am I going to really focus on bringing this relationship to the same life purpose on both levels. So I think that this is awesome. This is great. I think this is a party, though. I think it's a party. It's going to be fun for Scorpios. You're not going to feel like that lonely T-Rex by himself. He's definitely surrounded by a lot of hot ladies. And they're all in the same life purpose as him, getting down. Getting down. The challenge this week is the intellect. So it all might not make sense about situations and relationships this week. There might be, confusion or facts not lining up. But what lines up is if the life purpose is there and the confidence that you have in that life purpose in that direction, that's all that matters. It might not make sense logically. That's okay. This is where Scorpios are great, is knowing life purpose, knowing confidence very well. And I think that this is a great week for you to realize that it's okay if your intellect is off. It's okay, like, if it all doesn't look mathematically or in even reality makes sense. That's okay. This is you following where the confidence in your life purpose is going. You did pull the home element. What feels like you could build a home with? If you're in a relationship, how can you maybe redo your home this week? Or how could you bring more of a home feeling and bring that confidence and a purpose together? Maybe together you're going to go build a home, or maybe together you're talking about redoing the home, or maybe together you're talking about moving in if you're single and you're just in a new relationship. Or maybe there's a lot about, like, does it feel like home? Fuck the intellect. If it feels like home and life purposes together, that's 4th house, 10th house in alignment, baby. That's fucking great. But there's complications. The spiritual advice is the 5 of Wands. Upright. But one thing about conflict is I always look at this as spiritual advice is there's a lot of moving parts right now in your relationship, or if you're single, a lot of moving parts. And it's going to take a little bit of figuring out on how they're all going to align together. It's like 5 guys with 5 sticks that all say they have big ass fucking dicks, but they're really 3-inch like little fucking penises. And how are they all gonna get together? We're not gonna go that far, but we will say that this is about how, okay, it's five, let's just say it's 5 people with 5 sticks, and they are trying to find a way. It's kind of like Lincoln Logs, How are you going to build that world together? And there's a lot of moving parts. And I think that, the advice is to realize that there's a lot of moving parts and to not freak out about that, that if it intellectually doesn't make sense because there's so many moving parts. I mean, whenever you look at a construction site, you see pillars, you see beams, you see wood, you see trucks, and it all just is this mess. But when it's finished, you're like, how in the hell did they get all those little pieces together? That's where people can get, though, into conflicts when they're like, I think the piece should go this way, and I think the pieces should go this way. The advice is to go, we have a lot of pieces, let's just figure out how they're gonna work together. That's all that matters. As long as it's on the life purpose and we have confidence in this, even though it doesn't make sense and we don't have the true understanding if it really will work out, if it is connected to a deep home, and this isn't my favorite color, by the way, of all colors. And this is like the New Mexico color, it is the turquoise, like the turquoise rocks, but turquoise definitely is this really positive, and it's one of the most spiritual colors of all spirituality. It is this, I would say it is, some people say it's violet with Saint Germain and stuff. I've always believed that turquoise is like the ultimate spiritual color, and I feel that this is about following the spirituality and knowing there's a lot of moving parts, and that might be kind of hard, but actually it's not, because you're building something great. You got 10th house Venus, life purpose, Venus in the 10th. Venus in the 10th relationships are like, okay, unless they are career-minded in the same path, and you got it in Capricorn, which is life purpose. So this is really like, if you have the same kind of career lines, if you're in the same things with career, this is definitely the area to continue with your life and relationships. If it's not, you need to figure out a way to, if you don't want to leave that relationship. But if it doesn't feel like home, then out. But then if you're in new relationships, find ones that are in your same career. Or maybe it's a person from work that actually you fall in love with out of nowhere, or something this week if you're single. Definitely, I'm going to bring Ganesha out. I've been bringing it out for the Sages, but I'm going to do it for Scorpio here, because I feel Scorpio's got the party, and they don't got truth bombs. They got a lot of good stuff here. They did get the sexual card too, but you got new beginnings, and beginnings are great. I think that this is about this new beginning that's beautiful for you in all of relationships towards a new path in your life. So I think for Scorpios, even though it looks complicated, it looks conflicting, it's not. It's a lot of pieces coming together right now. You hear that, Craig? Yeah. Craig's Scorpio, so. Now, okay, I'm going to look at the chat. I'm sure people know who've been watching the show. This is, I think, our 3rd or 4th week. I don't know. This is our 4th week. I just want to say thank you, number one, for watching. And, of course, make sure you check out highvibe.tv to watch my daily horoscopes and daily videos and weekly sun signs and weekly tarot, weekly intuitive, and a lot more. And, of course, Deep Astrology is on there if you don't catch it live at 6 p.m. on Tuesdays. You can buy Deep Astrology individually for $1.99, or you can subscribe for under $7 if you buy the year plan, and literally get everything, plus 8 other people, and we're almost at like 100 videos a week. It's pretty crazy. We are pumping content. So you definitely want to check it out. There's so many amazing people on there. But I want to say this because we got White Party, we got the more you watch, the more you will like Mother Phoenix. Who's Mother Phoenix? Anyway, I was just going to say that Sagittarius have been getting a hard one like the last 3 weeks. So let's see what it says for Sag. I'm just, prepared, because like it's been kind of crazy for the Sages, so, and Sag risings and stuff. So here we go. We got the Saturn card, the truth. Oh, all right. So you need to look at the reality truth of if this is really a trap of you feeling like a slave in a partnership, or if you're single, the trap of whatever is restricting you. But you need to look at the truth that's from a reality place this week in all forms of your love life and romantic life. And it's harsh truth. It's definitely not easy truth. We got the wisdom card. Man, this is more boring relationship stuff. It's a bomb. It's boring relationship, but it also is troubled relationships. I know it sucks to say. You know, it's even weirder. It's even weirder with this wisdom because this is what you got last week, and it was on a waxing moon on Wednesday, and technically we are still on a waxing moon on Wednesday. So that you need to look wiser, and with owls and Saturn, yeah, you got to grow up. There's a lot of growing up, Sag, and I think that it's hard. I think that it's hard to grow up in your romantic life right now and look at what's really going on. And I think that it's with you growing up. Not so much your partner, or not so much because you're single, like this is on you. This is not on other people. This is on you being wiser about the choices that you're making in your romantic life. And your challenge this week is the purity that if it's not pure, if it's not based on purity, and it never was, and there's a lot of toxicity around, then it's going to hold you. It's going to hold a lot of weight on you. And I think that the challenge is that, you know, if you're single, you need to find relationships that come from a pure state. If it's got some, I don't know how my guides are saying, drug use or, you know, escapism, or there's been infidelity, or it is an infidelity relationship coming through, you know, like, I think that this is you kind of like erasing all situations and relationships and looking for the most purest one. Because I almost feel like all your relationships, if you're in romantic ones, are not pure. So instead of looking at this one or the other, or just this one or whatever, I think this wisdom is looking at a renewal of truth, and that you have to seek as a Sag, seek for new. And you got the power card. So that if it drains your power, if it's you giving your power away to other relationships, this is the impurity in yourself. That you're the one that has your own power. It's not through the power of the couple or the relationship that you have that is going to give you strength. You know, that you really have to do it and find it in yourself, and stop giving this power away to your relationship as the definition of your life. Your spiritual advice card is the Seven of Wands reversed. This is definitely a challenge when it comes to you realizing that the universe is saying, like, you need to put yourself in a better advantage position, that you're almost choosing to give your power away and kind of like not be on the better path of having the high ground to where you can deal with anything. But it's almost like your heart is just accepting crap. And I feel like you're having to grow up by not learning to accept crap and give your power away. You got Gemini, 6th house, Mars. You know, it's time for you to look at your reality from a much more logical sense and pull yourself out of these dreamy, big stories that don't really make sense. You have to take control of yourself by making some healthier choices that are about the environments that are pure, that make sense to a much more pure state, and that are actually going to create the love that you want. So there's a lot of adjustments continuing for Sages. I will give you the Ganesha card in that backup because the truth bombs have been dropped. Yeah. You got courage. And I love this card because there is a Leo lion there. There is Ganesha. Like, you need to have the courage to confront all these situations. I think that there's been a lack of courage, a lack of giving your power, or an abundance of giving your power away, and you knowing the wisdom but almost not listening to the truth of that wisdom. Wow. Sorry, Sag. You know, I have to take like a 2-second break from that because like it's been nonstop. Like how many weeks now? Like with Sages, and I just kind of want to give you like kind of like a deep astrology talk to Sag for a sec. it makes a lot of sense to me. One, Saturn and Pluto, South Node are in Capricorn. This is your second house. This is dealing with this trying to hold on to something that looks so good because it's making you feel like you can go farther with it, that it's going to give you some sort of fame or name by it. And also it's like kind of a hoarder that like can't let go. And with this North Node, Mars, Mercury, all this stuff here in Cancer, and in a couple, in 3 weeks when we have this, new moon solar eclipse in Cancer, this is going to be about transformation and endings and new beginnings. And I think that there's a deep fear of letting go of something that you got and had, but are afraid to kind of like put an end to it all. But this is going to create better self-worth. These are big self-worth tests in yourself. And at the same time, looking at where Venus is at, now it's in your seventh house, that the truth is coming out. The real facts are coming out. There's a full moon with Jupiter in your sign, on it in Sag, opposing the sun with Venus, not exact, but the sun and Venus are getting close. And this is a zone in 2012 that had the Venus eclipse. With Sun, Venus, Gemini, that Venus retrograde, which next year we're going to have. So there is this element that you really have been in the weirdest relationship stuff since 2012. And I think that, especially if you look from 2012 to now, the whole Scorpio stuff, which has been your 12th house, that, this has not been the best time for Sagittarius in relationships. And I think that if I gave you just, outside of tarot, but I gave you the astrology, it's just something that is what it is. And I think that there's a deeper look that you need to start to have when it comes to aligning with a much more divine, spiritual, and not from a place of like, where it's not equal and where it's almost like pulling you from who you are and what your power is and what your abundance is and trying to prove yourself to someone. Whenever you're having to get into a place where you're having to try and prove yourself, not good. I know that Frank Sinatra never proved himself, not even to Dean Martin, his best friend. He didn't have to prove himself to Johnny Carson on the show either. He showed up and started puffing on grits and just said, fuck you, I'll have it my way. And that's why I miss Frank Sinatra. And I think that whenever I think of Sagittarians in life, I always think of Frank. Because Frank knew what he wanted, he believed in it, and he showed the way. And the truth bomb in the world is Frank Sinatra was a badass motherfucker and a real Sag. Take your love advice from that. Capricorns, what's going on, Cappy? We got Mercury, the mind. So there's a lot, especially with this sixth house energy going on for all this stuff going on with Capricorns. But you need to be really smart now. You need to think things much clearer and look at a lot of what's going on here with your mind. Especially this is the 3 card. This is definitely like, that can rule third house, but really it's 3 in numerology is Jupiter. Like you need to really look at the whole picture here with your mind of what's making sense and what's not in your romantic life and your environments. Mercury does rule the environments, it does rule communication, and it does rule if you're stimulated or not. Are you stimulated? You got the knowledge reversed. You're not looking at the full picture, you're not looking at everything. So this is relationship trouble for sure. Trouble, troubled waters, trouble, trouble. Did you write Jim Morrison was the amazing Sagittarius? Who wrote that? Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah. But he was fucking badass. But yeah, Craig Spirit Animal was Jim Morrison. And you know what? I think Jim Morrison might be coming through for Capricorns here. Kind of like, hey, Jim Morrison was badass, but he should have believed in astrology. That in your relationships, maybe there's you not really looking at kind of like the knowledge of others or the knowledge, especially knowledge and Mercury. Like there's a part of you not looking at your relationship situations from a really locked in, making sense place. That it's almost like you're in a weird environment and you're in just like a space relationship wise, Capricorn, that just doesn't make sense at all. It just, but and it's almost like, let's see what the challenge is. Yeah, integrity. Your challenge is you feel like you have to be this integrity person. I have to hold integrity for what makes no sense in my life. Do you? No. I think that that's a challenge. Integrity is the integrity of yourself and the mind and the simulation and the knowledge of knowing what makes sense. There's a lot about things not making sense in Capricorn relationships right now. Why you're single makes no sense. Because of your own integrity issues of holding the integrity of what? Your own beliefs and your own way that relationships should look. In relationship, you're holding the integrity of something that literally sucks, that makes your mind go crazy, and that, you feel like you're not gaining any knowledge, but it might feel like you're stuck watching Barney all day and just losing it and becoming, kind of numbed out. You did get the full moon card. We do have a full moon this week in Sag, your 12th house. I will say that this is no coincidence, that this is you coming up with all of the subconscious. You're about to burst this week, so I don't even know what to say. I guess we got to put this as we already did relationship. I guess we'll do relationship bomb. This is some bomb shit coming up. And this bomb's hard because this full moon is lighting where you are misconstrued on what your integrity is about relationships, whether you're single or in a relationship. That you no longer, with the full moon in Sagittarius, with Jupiter there in your 12th house, can submerge into this belief system that is totally making no sense. That the environment makes no sense. This isn't who you are. Your spiritual advice is the star card. You need to come from your pure self, your naked self. The star card follows the tower. That there's a deep part of you that's afraid to start over, to start fresh, to start new. I think that this is whether you start new because you've been single for so long, or whether you start new because you're in a relationship that hasn't made sense, and you're in a place where you might feel locked in, but you don't know. Every day can change. So this integrity of what you're holding on to in relationships, because you need to think of the long term and all that, you don't know what might happen tomorrow. Things may change. The same situation that you're holding integrity for can change in a second. So you got to trust, I think, with kind of this reset, whether you do have to reset a relationship and be honest about your mind and be honest about the integrity that you don't feel like you need to hold because it's kind of delusional. Ooh, and you got a drop, so you get a second drop here. Uranus in the 4th. Oh yeah, there's troubles in the family, and there's troubles just with the emotions and changing the emotions out of nowhere in Sag. And you know what? I was born with Uranus in the 4th in Sag, so welcome to my world. That being a lily padder and jumping emotionally to new lily pads from emotions that sink, that don't make sense anymore, is life. Uranus in the 4th is that, there is no stable thing as the emotional world that you're in right now. There is no stability when it comes to that you need to adventure. And Uranus in the 4th can help you adventure by not attaching to emotional integrity, but attaching more to the excitement of exploring new emotional territory that's going to finally, until you find the place that really is the true integrity that makes sense. Don't be afraid at all. We got 2 more left and we are done. 2 more left. What do we got going on here in the chat real quick? You love the star card. I love the star card too. The star card is one of the best cards that can come up. So Capricorn's, that purity of starting fresh is good, but so scary for so many. Cross-watching Capricorn. That's why I'm not in a relationship. Why is it you're not in a relationship, Lindsay? Why don't you tell us in the chat? Susie Cat said Jim Morrison hunted her for 2 years, Jupiter and Scorpio. I've noticed with Jupiter and Scorpios that they see ghosts. They see spirits. But it's not a negative thing. It's an understanding of how to not be afraid to go deeper into the other side and to go deeper into seeing the edge of the universe. That Jupiter Scorpios, especially those born in 82, those born in 94, and even before that, you can go to those born in 70. There is this needing to explore the edges more of life, that you're afraid. So they'll show up in your life because you're afraid to go deeper. You're afraid to explore your edge more. And you stay too much in your own kind of place of security that without edge, you can't find and attract what you want in your life. All right, Aquarians got the water element of sensing. Not a very Aquarian card. A lot of people think Aquarius is a water sign. It's not. So with the water element, you need to tap into your emotions more and start listening to your intuition of where things are going in a relationship. It's almost like denial of relationship sensing. I'm feeling, I don't know why. We're going to look at the other card here. We got the strength card. Yeah, your strength is actually in your emotions and your intuition. So Aquarius, I think that for you, this is you really stepping to a place to where your strength comes from what your senses are telling you, not what your logic is telling you. So I think that this is some relationship trouble, believe it or not. This isn't your natural state. And, I say that because with this challenge of ritual, being the challenge, you're in a ritualistic kind of, I'm going to be honest, it's a boring relationship situation. And it's, I think the hardest because the strength is in following where your senses telling you that are not, the same ritual every day. I think Aquarians have kind of trapped themselves in relationships. I'm an astrologer doing tarot, and I will always put the astrology before the tarot because that's not what I'm pulling. That's what the universe is pulling. And I'm going to be honest. I think that the trouble is that the mundane and then finding escapism, because there is this water element that can escape through finding new things to try and get out of the ritual and stuff. And maybe that's what you need to do. But if it always keeps coming back to the same kind of routines and rhythms and, this kind of same element that's not bringing you the strength that you want to find to endure and to be feeling empowered in your relationships or empowering in your life and just kind of accepting where you're at, that's something that you have to listen to your gut and whatever it says, which is the karmic path. Wow. That I think you are in karmic paths right now, but I also think that there is the challenge of the rituals that you keep staying in relationships that you're almost denying a karmic path. Or it's time for you to accept that you've been on a karmic path that is just keeps going over and over and over again the same way. But I think that single Aquarians need to realize that there is a karmic path of following your intuition. And I also think that single ones maybe are on karmic paths where they didn't follow their intuition and they followed more of a ritualistic kind of, well, this is what I have to do. And this is about also the karmic path of being stuck. Saturn. Being stuck, especially with it in your 12th house, with Pluto and the South Node. Your spiritual vice is the Tower reversed. So before you kaboom everything, I think that you even need to know what, well, first of all, actually, my guides are saying this. You are afraid to kaboom. If you are in a relationship, if you are single, you are afraid of changing the way that you have structured your life, single, that there is this sense that in your relationship, if you are in one, that there is some sort of major, not what you've always thought the relationship was going to be is going to go down in the denial of that. And so that you have to confront that this week. And instead of running into escapism, because there is predetermined karmic paths in this life. And with all the Aquarius coming in 2020, it's moments like these that are coming up that are teaching you, and I think that Aquarians are going to have the biggest lessons of all of us through this period. Because this is the biggest 12th house transit, and I think we all need to give our love to Aquariuses because this is the biggest 12th house transit any human being in our lives will ever go through, ever. And it's important for them to wake up and not be afraid and get back to being the revolutionary, freedom-loving Aquarians instead of the trapped ones. It's like watching a bird be in a cage. The world is a vampire. You pulled Saturn, so Saturn came up on the karmic path in Virgo in the 7th. Yeah, it's a mundane, boring relationship of just routine. The ritual came up, and that the relationship growth has taught you how to, I think, if you're single and you've been dating, or if you've been out, how to get your routine together. But if you're in a relationship, the relationship you're in now has taught you how to live a life, but does it mean that it's got the actual emotional strength, karmic path, and the true path that you really want to be on? Those are some big questions for you to ask. And if you're an Aquarius, you would be disconnected enough to look at that as a different route about what your life is like right now, instead of kind of being blind and just being like, oh yeah, whatever. It must have been tough to be an Aquarius in the past. Your ideas being shut down because you're out of the box so much. Well, let's go to Pisces. I'm seeing, he says we're all going to die alone. No, Aaron. Aquarians are not going to die alone. Aquarians are learning the deepest lesson of not falling victim to this integrity of integrity itself. That integrity needs innovation. And getting caught in the same old, and feeling bad about exploring other worlds, other territories, or even using your true sense of what doesn't make sense, and being afraid, because Aquarians usually like to just be like, this doesn't make sense, I'm out. But it's like, all Aquarians are in relationship situations, even if they are single, with past lovers or with new people, where they kind of get kind of lost and don't know how to deal with it anymore. They've lost their ability, Aquarians have lost their ability to fucking be like, I'm out of here. Like, they have. And that's the fucking truth. So the alone is the alone in an energy, whether that is alone because, you choose to be alone, but I would say that it's more of like the alone of being in relationships that are not as truly as connected as you really thought, not on the same wavelength, which is why Aquarius is the same wavelength. It's kind of like the delusional understanding of the wavelength. Oh, we're the same age, so we're on the same wavelength. Or we're in the same path right now. We're both doing this right now. But it's like we actually don't even understand each other in the same way. We come from two different worlds, and that can be attractive sometimes. But Aquarians are looking for, when it comes to love, it's Gemini, their twin. And is it really your twin? Do they like the same things you like? Are they really involved? Are they really stimulated by those same things? Are you stimulated by their things? Or are you trying to find ways secretly to kind of get out and go into your own world and still like tell yourself this kind of spell? Like, oh no, yeah, it's fine. Fucking, we're getting deep. We're getting deep, and there's no better way to end Pisces. By the way, it's hotter than balls up in here. Whoever posted that whole thing about those dudes posting those text messages about how big their slongs are, it's like gross. It's like it's hotter than hell in here. It's hot. Although hell is truly actually cold. So, Pisces, are you ready? I'm for real. Hell is cold. In astrology, the two signs that rule hell are Aquarius and Capricorn with Saturn. And the bottom of the chart, because the top is Leo and Cancer, the sun and the moon, which is in the summer from the northern perspective. So Cancer's, or fucking hell is cold because Satan or the dark is cold, you know? Life is warm. Your heart is 98.6, degrees, your body temperature, like it's hot. Death and holding you of your life is cold. Why do you think reptiles are cold-blooded? And they don't have emotion. Think about that one. You guys ready, Pisces? All right, Pisces got the second house owning. This is the card of money. This is the card of values, property. This is also about, are you ready to own this relationship if you're single? Or what is it in yourself that, are you just more focused on material aspects in your life right now? Or are you just more focused on, in your relationships, just kind of like setting up what you need? So it might be a little boring. Maybe you need to get some supplies for the house. Maybe you're preparing for something. Maybe, you're looking at different properties. Maybe you're just looking at your money, how to make more money. If you're single, this is also kind of like, what you have in yourself that you can offer in a relationship, or what do those have? Do they have a nice car? Do they have a house? Do they have a life? Do you want to take on somebody's debt? Do you want to take on someone's kind of, not maybe at the same spiritual level that you're at right now? You got the victory card, so it's definitely a party a week. Everything's going to work out in relationships for you always. You're going to get what you want. It's looking good. You got the party going. So, Pisces, this is looking really good. I think that this is about having what you want in relationships and the kind of relationships that you want. If you're single, have victory. Own the ones that you want. Show that worth. If you're in a relationship, this is you going, I think, to another level in relationships and finding a celebration of where things are going to go. The challenge, though, is wisdom. So I think you're focused more on a material victory this week and the more mundane world stuff, but there is this wider scope that is missing from everything, which is okay, because I think that right now there is more issues in the physical world and the day-to-day life that are coming up. That makes sense. But just remember, after this victory comes the wider scope, that the things you do this week and the things that are very intense this week, have you looked at the longer term of what that's going to be and react to? You got veiled, so a little bit of bow chicka wow wow, especially with the sex card, even though veiled is sex. A little bit like Eyes Wide Shut. Anybody ever see Eyes Wide Shut? Eyes Wide Shut is definitely a movie that they wear the veil. They want to experience what they want, but they also don't want to show themselves. Maybe the bigger wisdom is there's a part of you having victories in your physical world, but in your emotional, sexual, and other world, is it really there? Or do you feel a little bit kind of like you don't want to reveal everything there? Or maybe there is some self-worth issues. There is a connection kind of with self-worth of kind of veiling yourself of what's really there. And I think that you are in a space where there, the second house deals with, your physical looks as well and so forth. So with this veiled card, I think that the wisdom is in actually kind of taking the veils off and showing the real truth. You're going to have victory with maybe positioning yourself or gaining some access to things that you need in your life. But I think that there's a lack when it comes to the wisdom of your truth, of your depth, of the emotional depth that you're looking for, that you really want to experience. There's a little bit of like a tiger that's trying to come out of a cage that's afraid to show its teeth. I'll show you my teeth. I'm a lion, I don't care. And you got the Queen of Pentacles, so wow, with the second house and the Queen of Pentacles, Jiminy Christmas. This is definitely about building the best life that you can, but this comes the question with the Wisdom card. Are you smart about what it is? So sure, if you need more money, that's how it's going to happen. If you need new stuff for, or you want new clothes for a new date, or if you want a new lover that's got money, you can have all those things. But are you wise? Or are you going to just be kind of like in one of my favorite Eagles song? you just can't like hide in those lion eyes, you know. A rich old man and she won't have to worry. Go listen to that song. Little truth bomb on the Pisces right now. I love that line. A rich old man and she won't have to worry. What about if you're single? Oh, maybe you put everything into a car, a home, whatever. And it's like, oh, this physical thing in my life and I won't have to worry. It'll fulfill me right now. Really? How long? How long after do we buy our cell phone that we're really into it that night of and in bed and setting it up and maybe the next day, and then honestly, you look at your phone now and you're just like, give me that thing. You know how many times I've thrown this phone just because I've been upset? Like, got the call that are like, fuck this thing. You know what I mean? Whatever. It's like we lose value in this stuff, you know? So I think that the big wisdom call is like, victory in the mundane physical is there. And you have the ability to manifest whatever you want, but are you wise enough to manifest the secret stuff that you're not revealing? Your astro dice, Pisces, is Sag, third house. Is that Leo? It's North Node. This is about you thinking about the wider scope, ironically, and looking at the facts and seeing if they're going to meet with the vision and where you want to go. So if you're in a relationship where the environment's cool, but it actually isn't really where you want to go, like it's like temporarily working, but if you look at your long scope, you're like, I don't know if I want to be with that. Like, it's kind of not where I want to go in my life. Well, then this is where you need to kind of examine that this is maybe a temporary space this week of like victories and everything, but eventually you're going to have to deal with, on the horizon line, a much more deeper situation that no money can buy. Make sure you check out highvibe.tv. I want to say thank you to everybody. I hope everybody's good in the chat to watch my daily videos, to watch my daily horoscopes, my weekly intuitive, my weekly tarot, my weekly sun sign horoscopes. And we got tons of other people on there. We got Jackson Lannis, we got Rachel, we got the Peace Dealer, we got so many people on there. We got Hauser, we got Steph Baker, we got Tim Losi. We got so many people. It's insane. We got health horoscopes. We got the Peace Dealer's daily peace talk and his sun sign horoscopes. We got Aphrodite's, Tim Losi's awesome daily health horoscopes and his weekly sun sign horoscopes. We got David Hauser's love readings. We got, and his love stuff. We've got Steph Baker's amazing intuitive reports. We got Tamara. Tamara is amazing with her cards and her intuitives. We got, there's so much. I'm just like, dude, we got Rachel in the mental health segment that she just did. We even have at the Lightworker School on highvibe.tv. We got Dylan with new schools up. We got some new schools up that are coming up from shadow work, from so much energy everywhere, honestly. So check it out, highvibe.tv, for the price of literally what it is, under $7 if you get the year plan. Or we have a $10.99 a month, or if you just want to buy one video. There's tons of videos on there where you can just buy it one off, including Deep Astrology. If you want to buy Deep Astrology because you missed it live, $199. Or if you just want to join, I mean, the highest is $10.99 a month. That's if you I don't have a lot of money right now. Or 3 months for $8 a month, which equals $24 for 3 months. And we have a 7-day free trial. You just want to try it out for 7 days. Go to highvibe.tv. Thanks so much for all your support. Hope that this all goes well for you. I'm going to roll a little dice for everybody real quick. And we all got Gemini, 11th house with the North Node. Let's all go to environments that are exciting, fun, and stimulating. Fuck going to journeys that are not really who we are. I love you all. Sending you my best. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Deep Astrology Live at 6 p.m. Set your bell on the Leo King YouTube if you want to watch it live. If not, go to highvibe.tv and you can watch it there and purchase it for $1.99 or be a subscriber and get it with a bunch of other content in my dailies. And you can go on there and see. We have no veil over highvibe.tv. You can literally go in the catalog and see what's up there right away. So that's what you get. It will say it's part of the subscription or not when you click on the video. Check it out, highvibe.tv. Thanks so much. I'll see all you guys tomorrow.